So last night I had a spot check from City of Rockford under their program SPO, which is an acronym for Single Point of Entry. SPO goes around to the homeless who are in Rockford and finds out if their severity of what they claim is truthful. The way it works is that they put those who are on Social Security on the housing list funded by HUD. The problem is that they put those who are on Social Security above those who are not on Social Security and not receiving benefits. So in my case, because I don't receive benefits because I don't have any disabilities, I am put under the people who technically could use their paycheck, their monthly paycheck for SSI, and pay for their own apartment. And so that is a form of discrimination. The individuals that arrived, I provided initially a location near the gym that I go to where I shower. But because I couldn't get back to that location, I picked up my phone. I texted them. I told them I was at a different location. Had I not had the phone, I wouldn't have been able to stay in contact with them. It shouldn't. I initially contacted SPO while I was at a Rosecrans treatment center, where I was utilizing their facility for a desk, and to make phone calls. Now I'm currently at the library. The library here only offers a room occasionally, and it's only for a couple hours. So I need at least 6 or 7 hours, just like anybody else who is working at their workstation. And I contacted SPO while I was there at the treatment center, and they said that they do need to, even though the individuals who are qualified professionals know my story and know what happened, the city of Rockford wants to see me out on the street, which is dangerous because most of the time homeless people are sleeping on private property, are breaking the law, and they are I use the word somewhat nomadic, which means they do, if somebody has to go to the bathroom or something, and you check on somebody, they're or they need to get food, they may or may not be at that location. They do it at night, which maybe it shouldn't be at night. It's kind of scary if a car comes up, with the city's emblem on the car, and then and it does a check on you. People might be afraid. Those who are homeless are, some of them do suffer from illnesses that might make them skeptical of the car. After I got off so after they arrived to where I was at, because I was able to call them, there were two girls. They looked like they just graduated college. Somebody that I would like to get to know. And Meaning they were cute, and so I sat there and explained to them my story, and that and they and I asked if what was the next steps, and they just put you. The only thing they do is drive around and then put you on the housing list, to then get the process started. But I'm on the same housing list as everybody else. I'm not getting any. I'm not getting priority. And there's a waiting list. Previously, there was funding. Earlier this month, there was funding for people for hotels. I went to a hotel over here that no, that provides food. As of now, still provides food for that's been donated, a charity, or a bakery that donates food for charity. They dropped the leftovers at this hotel, and it was because that hotel was housing those who were getting funded by HUD, and they haven't stopped donating food, and so it kind of leads me to believe that maybe they should still be funding for people who need a hotel. The domestic violence shelter that is here. You can only get into that shelter if you are a victim of domestic violence, and you are and the abuser is somebody who you are intimate with. So it has to be somebody you're intimate with, and it must have occurred recently. So if you're a victim of human trafficking, and the domestic violence abuser the abuser puts you into their car and drives you out of the county, and you can't get back for quite some time. Then you come back to deal with court. You can't go to the domestic violence shelter, and the city of Rockford is also pushing the agenda of going to the Rockford Rescue Mission, where they are violent, where they harass you, and where they treat you horribly. So most people are part of the board of the board of directors and the committees that are involved with the rescue mission are getting paid, and they are unaware of of how bad the environment is. I talked to one person who is a part of the board. He's an architect, and and I explained to him what they did to me and what they're doing to other people. He was unaware of it. So I'm concerned about the funding that goes into there, and I'm concerned about the how much people are getting paid to be a part of the committees and boards, if it's like solely volunteer occupation. But I don't believe that is the case. I applied to a local convenience store that has a broad covering between the northern state and the southern state of Wisconsin, the northern state of Illinois. They actually fund and they give charity donations to the Rockford Rescue Mission. I applied for assistant manager position. They said I was unqualified for it, and I would not be able to get that position. It's just important because I've worked at a gallery. I've co-ran a gallery that was a startup between me and my other two friends, and we were dealing with cash in a physical form and online payments. And I'm pretty sure if you're buying and selling artwork, it's a form of retail. And I was told that I've never, by the hiring manager at this location, she had said I never had retail experience. And that's just I don't know why the people who are fulfilling these occupations are not able to understand. I think the biggest reason is because the language needed when you look under the criteria for when you're hired, the language used is very important. You need to talk the talk and walk the walk. But if you're not going to answer your phone and then after me calling so many times, and then after I get a hold of you, you're going to say I'm denied my application. And then I ask if you can just set me up with the lowest occupation, which is known as a sales associate at this convenience store. And then I'm told that then I go online and I can't like update my resume or apply for the other positions due to a systematic error. The system says that my application is still being reviewed. And that is still occurring, and I was, after proactively calling the hiring manager, after she told me I wasn't qualified for the position, it should link up with the system and saying my application has been denied, but it says online that I have to wait 60 more days for me for an answer on whether or not I received the position. I was offered the position by assistant manager. They said they needed, and she told me, and she wrote down her name, the store number, and everything. So I was denied that opportunity, and now there's no longer positions available. I went into that store every day, and they just didn't want to hire me because I think due to my housing status. So I will be filing a complaint of employment discrimination for that. And if you're donating funds to the Rockford Rescue Mission and you're trying to fight this homelessness thing, not employing a homeless person is not the answer. But I'm here at the Rockford Library. At the Rockford Library here, where I'm at, they have a kitchen area that was a business had not been able to pay the rent. They went under, and that space is now not being utilized. And so at the Harold Washington Library in downtown Chicago, there's alternative learning environments that assist those who can't see, who can't hear, who can't walk, visually impaired. And so I'm calling now I have to call the architects that designed the building, and try to find out if there's a contractor that can implement them here in Rockford. I approached the library committee, the board, and I explained to them that these rooms are very necessary for the success and for the integration into our community. And for those of you integrated into our community who are at a disadvantage. And and yesterday when I called, the person who designed the library, they have their own architect school at the school at Notre Dame, and so the person who I needed to contact wasn't there yesterday, and so I'm gonna try calling today. And this, in the meantime, I have like 5, 6 cases here in this county, from being assaulted by a police officer, being forced into a car at knife point, and being falsely arrested 7 times. And then on top of that, the county is trying to say I'm incompetent, and that I need medical treatment. And so and that's kind of how it starts, is that somebody doesn't want to get in trouble for what they did, so they'll try to treat you medically, and a lot of people are going to get in trouble for this. And this is, technically because you're dealing with somewhat of a political issue, that people will break the law and hurt somebody like myself for trying to get a resource center, for somebody in a wheelchair at a library. That's really my mission, is to get this wheelchair, and this person in it inside of a learning environment, so they can use the computer, they can read braille, they prints off braille, they can read it. There's actually a reader where they put their fingers and they can the braille, and it just reads as if it's a continuous line of braille. And then they have voice to text software that comes along with it. The computer screens are bigger, the keyboards are bigger, and the rooms cost, I assume, no more than $20,000 a room. There's enough available. There's enough space here at the library for there to be two of them, two environments. I mean, they're essentially, about 10 by 3, 10 by 4, enough for the wheelchair to get in, enough to get a wheelchair out. But it's a long table, a lot of instruments. So I am going to call. I'm going to call right now and see if I can get a hold of anybody over there at the school in Notre Dame. And hopefully they can point me to the direction of a contractor. Rockford needs not only to have employees that are skilled in working alongside the individuals who are disabled, but they also need to have the funding for those positions, and they also need a contractor to come out and set it up, probably. The rooms I don't know how qualified a contractor needs to be to set up the room. It is just a table and the instruments all linked up. But I know that the software providers do have individuals coming out, do have representatives that do come out and do train people on the instruments. But you do need additional staff for the library. So I'm going to call and find out what's going on. But the City of Rockford says that I'm incompetent. I'm calling Notre Dame right now, and so it's just. Hi, my name is Ethan Turner. I am currently in Rockford, Illinois. I noticed at the Harold Washington Library in Chicago, Illinois, where I studied in Chicago, that they have alternative learning centers for those who are disabled, for the hearing impaired, seeing impaired, and visually impaired. Those resource centers I would like to have implemented in Rockford, Illinois, which is about like 80 miles away from downtown, going west. The question is, I got all the information on it from the Harold Washington Library, but I'm needing to find out if maybe anybody knows of a contractor who built those, who set them up, so I can maybe reach out to a contractor to get a quote, to see if there's any availability, and how that process would work. I called this number yesterday, and they said that the person who would be able to help me was not in the office today. I don't know who I spoke to. I should. No, they asked if I wanted to send them an email, or if and I just said no. I just call back today. Is there anybody who, because it was designed by BB, and so the library was, so is there anybody who would be in charge that? So these, the environments, maybe I can give you, I'm trying to give you more information. The environments have, they're for the seeing and impaired. So they can, like, the rooms, company, consist of like a braille reader, a larger keyboard, larger, desktop. And so I was hoping that, there was there, the library was used it was used in conjunction with for the disabled before it was redesigned and in '91. So I was hoping that maybe you could. Is there somebody else that next to you that you could ask? Um, I have no problem sending it through an email. I just yesterday somebody did say that there would be somebody available for the phone call today. Could you ask? Okay. What was her name? Evan, but the person I spoke to yesterday, what was her name? Monica. I don't. That name doesn't ring a bell. Maybe it was. Let me get my pen out and write down the email address that let me so I can send you an email. Michelle Carnes is over at the is a director over there at the Harold Washington Library, and she's the one who's is in charge of that program. Or she's the one who well, I don't know if she's in charge of it, but she's the one who sent me all the information. Um, so I'm ready for your email. What is it? Okay, Monica's. Mm-hmm. S is in Sam. Edu. So MBORSODI at nd.edu. Okay. And just send it to that email. Okay. Is there another email that you want to provide me? You said there might be two emails. Yeah, she said that. Okay. Well, is she working remotely today? Well, like, would she be able to? If I send this email today, would she? Do you think she'd get it? She's just out. Okay. I appreciate it. I'll send her an email. Is there anybody out? There's no other email that I should that you can think of right now for me to CC. Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye. So that's a simple phone call. I've called many people in the United States and outside of the United States. I've done this for a very long time, and the city of Rockford apparently tortures individuals in the state of Illinois for doing this, and then they force you into a car at knife point, and they traffic you outside of the county, so you can't accomplish any of this. And so there's a large settlement involved, and a lot of people are going to get in trouble. And so in the meantime, I am trying to get a resource center in the library. And there's no excuse for what happened to me and why it happened to me and why we're allowing it to happen. We're allowing domestic violence to exist, and we're not doing anything about it.